There, my name is Hallock. I am the owner of Stitched Head and Heart Project. I'm also a PSYCH-K facilitator and a certified consulting hypnotist. I work within this office here and take clients on a weekly basis. I wanted to kind of touch base on, and will every week kind of bring a whole summary and synopsis of what I am finding within the community of clients, myself, and just in regular conversation with others. Because I think humanity in a lot of ways flows together and has the ability to kind of learn from one another. Additionally, it helps us to know that we're not alone in this. We're not the only ones going through this. There's this relatability that is there that kind of dismantles the need to keep things secret. So, that being said, I noticed this week that communication, while it should be a very easy thing, isn't. Mostly in intimate relationships, but you can also find this in business relationships. You can find this in platonic relationships, where you run into these walls where it's almost like you're speaking two different languages, and you're not being heard, and there's all this miscommunication going on. So I thought I would kind of just do a couple of tips on what we can do to circumvent making, a mountain out of a molehill, or maybe suppressing and then exploding like a volcano. Because those are two ways in which we handle confrontation and threat in our intimate relationships especially. So while some are more reserved and need more time to process emotion, especially in situations that can be threatening to the relationship, am I going to lose this person? Is this person, going to leave me? Those kinds of typical fears will cause some personality types to withdraw and process, while other personality types are going to want to confront and get it done and taken care of. That whole fight or flight mechanism goes off with a perceived threat. So what I found was, in many ways, yes, we need to meet this right on. But does it need to be dramatic? No, absolutely not. It doesn't need to be dramatic. But because we have a heightened biological state, we are kind of unable to be our best selves at that time. So taking timeouts and things is totally normal, but in order to sustain this relationship and bring health to it and wellness to it, communication is key. We have to keep talking. We have to keep saying how we're feeling. We need to honor each other enough to not suppress and then become resentful and have contempt for our partner. But we also have to not be too aggressive as well, So what I decided to do is kind of put together a few little tips. So your first and most important tip is going to be to definitely create a safe environment. So when we're dealing with two different personalities, and oftentimes we are, it's not. Usually one person's a little bit more vocally extroverted than the other person is. One's a little bit more adept and well in tune with their emotional language and vernacular, and the other person may not be as much. So what we need to do is create a safe space for both people to communicate. So whatever that looks like, I'm not talking about a physical, I'm talking about an emotionally safe space. You know your partner knows you. You know what kind of pushes them over the edge and what does not. So creating that safe environment is going to be one of the most effective ways to communicate. Is it a good idea to talk about these things, in front of others? Absolutely not. If it can't be, avoided, pull someone off to the side. There's a variety of different ways to address it without it becoming an issue. Additionally, Timeliness. So this goes to the people who want to address the issue immediately. Some people are not going to be able to handle that. It's too much, it's too quick, and they know themselves well enough to know that they can't be their best self at that point in time. So allowing there to be an agreed upon time, an agreed upon emotional state, an agreed upon environment, even, yes, physical. But to remember that ultimately you need to say how you feel. You need to communicate with one another. You need to create healthy boundaries that allow you to feel the way that you feel, your partner hear that, and then vice versa. You honor each other, you grow each other, you see each other's weakness and help each other to move forward. That's the tenet of a healthy and well-balanced relationship. So that was my tip for the week. And when I did my meditation and visualization, I kind of saw like an SUV on a road. So if we're not paying attention, say the SUV is our relationship, if we're not paying attention, we can easily, not intentionally, but easily, swerve out of the lines, right? So whoops-a-days, I wasn't paying attention to my partner's needs, or I said something that was careless. So that can happen. That's easy. We're human. We're fallible. That's going to happen. All of us are doing it, and we're doing it to each other on a regular basis. So, but what do we do then? Do we completely overcorrect and overturn the vehicle? Do we, slowly ride along the line of, not dealing with the situation, or, closing our eyes to it, sticking our heads in the sand? No, we don't want to do any of those things. We want to create a balance. And within the PSYCH-K technique, that's actually what they're called, are balances. So you bring a logical, element as well as the emotional element. You create an environment that's safe, and you're able to come to different, conclusions, and you're able to actually grow from this kind of communication. So that's just my little tidbit for today. And I just want to let everybody know that within the YouTube channel, you're more than welcome to post any questions, ideas. If you have any questions for me that are too personal for that kind of public forum, you're more than welcome to email me at Haley Hallock. It's haley.hallock@gmail. We can be contacted as well through our website, which is haleyhallock.com. You can also just follow us on social media. We are either at Haley Hallock or at Stitched Head and Heart. We're on pretty much every single social media site. I'm more than happy to help in absolutely any way that I possibly can. So I'm wishing you one of the best and most blessed weeks, and I will see you guys next week.